What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have the Denver Broncos. As most of you have most likely seen, the Broncos traded away their first round pick to the Miami Dolphins in return for Jalen Waddle. We'll go to this here. They also traded away their third round pick. So this is not going to be a very fun draft. But with all things being said, the Broncos still need to get younger. They need help on their defensive line a little bit, just mainly in the interior. And linebacker needs to get some depth and safety and potentially a tight end. So as we go through this draft, I'll look for any of those positions mainly. Doesn't look like they need a receiver anymore. They're a very good team. Super Bowl contender coming in. So, let's get into the video. Alright. So here with our first pick, I do not believe the Broncos will make a trade to go move up. They just do not have the draft capital. I could see maybe like a move up with the Texans, but really, what are they moving up for? I don't see it. Maybe like a guy like Josiah Trotter, but who knows? Looking at the board, I could potentially see them taking running back like Mike Washington Jr. or Jadarian Price, but I'm not going to do that. I think with them re-signing J.K. Dobbins and having the guy they drafted last year, it just doesn't seem like a fit for me here. Defensively, I think it would be a bit of a reach with a guy like Darrell Jackson out of Florida State. He's just a big run defender, and that's something I believe the Broncos need out of their defensive line. They are very good against the pass in all facets of the defense, and I think you can just only get better from here, and getting a guy who can help elevate your run game is a good pick for me, especially with that already elite defense. All right, moving forward, pick 108. As the board was going, I was potentially thinking about trading up for Jadarian Price here, but the Jaguars ended up taking him there at pick 100. I definitely could have made the trade up, just didn't pull the trigger. So now we're here at pick 108. I see a guy like Max Clare. To me, is the third best tight end in this draft behind only Kenyon Sadiq and Eli Stowers. I think a guy like Max Clare out of Ohio State fits what this Broncos team is trying to build here. Now, he is on a bit of a smaller side, but I don't think that truly matters when you can do everything. He showed it at Ohio State. He wasn't like an elite guy. They have a lot of elite guys, a lot of elite receivers, very good running backs. Max Clare was kind of a guy who, as a prospect, is going a bit under the radar, I believe, right now. He started out very high during the season and has kind of just dropped off as of recently. So I'm going to try to make a pick here. So Max Clare there. And 3 picks later, we have pick 111. Would trading back to 126. Ooh. 126. But Jalen Kilgore's here. I don't think that is worth missing out on a guy like Jalen Kilgore. Safety out of South Carolina, can play both deep and can play in the nickel. He's going to be a big nickel. He's kind of like a Guy from the Seahawks. Why am I'm blanking today. Having a bad day today. I don't know. But was a big safety, could play in the nickel. A guy like Jalen Kilgore, I think, fits very well in that Broncos defense, a defense that needs another safety added to their room, and keeping it on a cheap deal here. So it works out. All right. Just about 59 picks later, we come here in the 5th round. The Broncos have pick 170. I'm looking linebacker here, and just at the top of the board here, Jack Kelly out of BYU, I think definitely has concerns in the pass coverage aspect of his game, but that can always be learned. A guy who I don't believe will have to immediately come in and make an impact, but can be put in the game in certain packages for his run stopping ability, and over time can learn that pass coverage ability. All right. Now the Broncos have 3 7th round picks coming up. 246 here first. Gonna go DJ Campbell out of Texas. Not a huge need for this team, but is a guy who definitely needs some development. And what better team than the Broncos, really, to have him develop behind Quinn Miners. So then looking at 256, last 2 picks in this draft overall. I think I'm going to take Damani Jackson. Definitely not a huge need. Going to be a guy who's going to have to develop over time. And then I'm going to take Xavier Sori Jr. out of Arkansas. Very big linebacker. Not like the greatest 40 time or anything. But has definitely shown a lot of flashes, and to be Mr. Irrelevant in this draft, I don't think they expect much, but a guy who has a lot of upside is always a good pick. So doubling up on linebacker here. Overall, didn't make a single trade. Broncos already made that big trade for me. But you got a guy, big Darrell Jackson here. You got Max Clare. You got your tight end set behind Evan Ingram. You have Jalen Kilgore, who can come in, be an immediate impact in that defense, whether that's going to be in the nickel, taking over Jahdae Barron's spot and moving Jahdae Barron on the outside, or back at safety, and he can play anywhere. Later on, Jack Kelly, first linebacker of the day. Not very good in pass coverage, so needs to develop that. DJ Campbell, definitely going to be a guy who needs to sit and develop for a little bit. Damani Jackson, I believe, as well, needs to work on his processing overall and just learning different coverages and different route schemes on the opposite side of the ball. And then a guy like Xavier Sori out of Arkansas, doubling up on linebacker, a guy who I believe is better in pass coverage than a lot of the linebackers in the 3rd round or later. So it's worth taking a shot. I think he has the potential to be a starting caliber linebacker, but it's all in development. Overall, for what the Broncos need, I think this is a very good draft. I just attacked their biggest needs, and then later on just brought in guys who I think could be very good depth pieces. And I like it. So, please, in the comments, Let me know if you would change a pick a different guy, maybe make a different trade. Just let me know. But thank you guys. Please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, help out the channel, helps out me, and I can get more videos, better quality videos, and hopefully the channel grows. So thank you guys, and have a good one.